you're part of the go-go group or go-go hip-hop band, T.R.J. and Long Sleeve Steve.
Yes.
Okay, now I know you're a legend. So, first of all, tell us how you got into the music scene and what arrived you to this point.
Well, this is Taylor Reed. We are the original members of Trouble Funk. We started the band back in 1978. Myself, Big Tony, my brother, and James, and one other guy. So Trouble Funk has been in the business for a good while. Only recently, in the last two, we toured all over the world as far as Trouble Funk, Pump Me Up, Drop the Bomb, and all that. And then we recently, in the past year and a half or 2 years, we kind of created another group out of that. That's why the album is called Go-Go Soul, a Soul Project. And the T.R.J. was another group that we created out of Trouble Funk.
Okay. So, 1978. I am a year older than your group.
Yeah, so we've been in the business a long time.
A very long time, okay? So.
And then the other guy, Long Sleeve Steve, is my nephew. His brother Robert Reed and myself and Tony, we started with my mother. My brother passed away, so we went on and got his son who's into it, and that's how he became a part of it.
Okay, now since you brought it up, because I know that you both have definitely different styles, because his hip-hop is way different than kind of what you made music off of. So I know he's related, but what talents did he bring to the table that made you say, hey, we can use
Well, he's done quite a few rap records himself. He's been on stage with us a couple of times since my brother passed away, take my brother's place. So he's been on stage, he's been performing, he has a couple of records he did. We just figured to bring him in on the ground floor on this one and see if that it seems like that's giving him some momentum.
Yeah, and I'd like to add also, you mentioned the different styles. So if we go back to the beginning, Trouble Funk is a hardcore go-go band. We, along with Chuck Brown, EU, and Rare Essence, we originated go-go here in Washington, D.C. So that was the backstory to that. And what we decided to do in forming TRJ, one of the things that go-go has been, we were the first group to take go-go international. So initially, just to give you the backstory, we signed initially with Jam 2 when Pump Me Up came out. That record was very, very popular, and so Sugar Hill Records came along and wanted to bring us into the hip-hop. And so we signed with Sugar Hill Records. We toured with Grandmaster Flash, Run DMC. All the rappers used to come to see us in New York. LL Cool J, they would be backstage. They just loved go-go. And Trouble Funk is one of the most sampled bands in hip-hop history. And we're part of the D.C. Hip-Hop Museum. Trouble Funk was inducted into that. So as we toured internationally, London, Paris, Germany, France, Japan, all over the world, playing go-go music. And so after a while, we came back. One of the things that happened, that transition between rap, go-go, and R&B music, our rap music ended up moving forward and became a national phenomenon. Go-go has been really centric, except for a couple of things that Trouble Funk did and EU did with the butt when the Spike Lee film came out. So we are known nationally and internationally. However, breaking that radio market has been one of the things. You would hear it here and there, but not blast across the way hip-hop had broken out. So what we would decide to do with TRJ, we decided to take go-go and take that backbeat and put it on top of regular formatted music that has lyrical structure, and use, in this first tune, Walk It Down, you'll hear Steve rapping in this song on top of go-go music. So that was the desire, to have original music that myself and Taylor wrote, no samples and all that. This is original music that we wrote, and original rap music that Steve put on top of it, and it still has that go-go feel. So that's the backstory to that.
Now, Walk It Down is a bomb single, like you said. It's an old mixed with new creativity. And then you have another one. It's Southeast Parking Lot.
Yes, yes. That's Steve's. That's one of the songs that after I wrote the music to this, we were gonna first think about whether we should how we should use this piece of music, because we thought first, well, maybe it might be a Trouble Funk song, or should it be a T.R.J. song? And Steve heard it and he said, well, no, wait a minute, let me have that. So he took the song and dropped the rap on it, and then Taylor did the second half of the rap. Taylor's a talented singer as well as now a new style of rapping in that particular song. So those are the two songs that Steve performs on Walk It Down and Southeast Parking Lot.
Now, what inspired Pull Me Up?
Well,
oh, wow.
Pull Me Up was we started off with just percussion because it's hard for us not to add go-go in music. That's one of the things that we're stuck with. We can't get it, and we enjoy doing it. Then we put everything rhythm on, but we was thinking when the COVID had hit and everybody was locked in, so we came up with this song and said, look, we back in, and the ladies are coming back out to the club. And, Pull Me Up, men fall down and we get tore up. Sometimes we need women to pull us up. So that's what that is, pull me up when I fall down,
Yeah. Yeah, that song was done really just like I said, welcoming everybody back from COVID and, just come out and have a great time. And that was the main thing for that particular song.
Now, those singles are birthed from an album. Can you tell us about the album, or whether you or listeners, since we are audio now?
Okay.
Material?
Right. So the album, the project, the title of the album is Go-Go Soul, a Trouble Funk Project. And the impetus for this particular album is an 8-song album. And the impetus for this was that we wanted to invite the Trouble Funk members to contribute songs to this project. And on this particular album, Kel and I wrote most of it, but you have a song contributed from the trumpet player, Dean Harris, on the one called Young Man Don't Run. We have T-Bone David playing percussion, who's an original Trouble Funk member. We have Chet Davis, who's the original guitar player from Trouble Funk, playing guitar on it. We invited everybody to contribute, to all the Trouble Funk members to contribute to the project. The plan is to do a 3-album collection, and this is the first of 3 albums. So you will be hearing other Trouble Funk members and band members contributing to this also. And this was the one that was more radio-oriented, dance music-oriented. We're also going to put some hardcore go-go, like in the old days of Drop the Ball and Pump Me Up, on the second set of the album. Then we'll do a 3rd album also.
So, and like you said, with this new album, you have a lot of old, feel-good, not songs per se, but just the same mashup or recipe that you would have used back in the day when go-go music first came out. So, and with that being said, what do you think is the best recipe to make a great song?
I think, one, you have to have a story. That's for all music. Rap music, you got to have a story too. 2, you have to kind of be able to orchestrate the music behind the story, and then you lay your signature on it, as in it's go-go. And everybody has signature. Rappers have signature, but the plan and the formula is usually about the same. There's some things that change in our lives, but there's some things that don't. Even in jazz music, blues, there's always that pattern. And even classical music, there's a pattern to it. And I think we just, instead of just doing all go-go without any pattern at all, we kind of say, let's see what the pattern is. Let's see what we get, because we can always do go-go all day long, all night and all day.
Well, just like live music, go-go ain't going nowhere, okay?
Right.
Well, one thing I can say before, in the beginning, there was only 4 bands: Chuck Brown, EU, Ray Aston, and Trouble Funk. They were the only 4 bands. Once we started, after about a year or two, then some other little bands started coming out, like Junkyard Band, Backyard Band. They came in, but we had to go out and introduce go-go to the world. That's why we traveled for 2 straight years. But it's a good dance music, and I think people need dance music now more than they did before, because nobody wants to be sad most of the time, and a lot of the people are still writing sad songs. I don't know why, but we have enough sadness, if we don't do music. So I think our music is for up. It's for moving. It's for sitting back in your own house and jumping around and those things.
Somebody said you can get freaky at home on your own, okay?
Yeah, that's what misunderstanding is about, right?
Yeah.
But that is the understanding, okay?
Yeah.
So now, you've been around, like I said, a very long time. Although I'm older than the band, I've only been at this line of work that I've been doing a little over 12 years. I get burned out from life, creating, just trying to stay relevant, even in my line of work, where I'm fighting for that zeal, and, I'm just trying to keep the train going. So how do you guys keep that passion, and what's the sacrifice?
Well, my thing is, once you're into something that you're passionate about, it is hard to stop unless you are dead. One of the things I can say about Chuck Brown, he was older than us. I think when he passed away, he was still on stage a week before he passed away. So I don't see rappers stopping. I don't care how old they get, they should continue. I think if you have a craft, you're going to do it, especially a craft that's a creative type of craft. It is hard not to be creative. And creative just comes from thinking. The longer you're in the business, the more you know, the more you have to use. We've been around long enough. We can take blues, jazz, anything. We've been around long enough to hear these songs. A lot of young cats haven't been around long enough. They don't know any music from the 50s. They don't know any music, maybe some music from the 60s. But as you stay long enough, it gives you that, I got something else to add to my arsenal. And I think that's what you have to do. You got to keep adding to your arsenal.
Yeah.
And speaking of adding to your arsenal, like Pump Me Up was the most sampled song ever. Why do you think that song was so hot?
Well, a lot of the rappers, when they came out, they were sampling everybody's stuff. It just so happened Pump Me Up was a different style. A different style of a beat and rhythm that they wanted to try to use, and they liked the phrase itself. Pump, 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 pump me up was a decent phrase. That's why so many people use it. They even use it in a video game. And then we promoted that. We were okay with doing things that other people could use. We even had an album that's called The Beat. It has nothing but beats on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to understand that this was pre-internet, where people can, like today, people get samples and drum beats already made for them. But we were the musicians who created those beats, and that was what made us different from the rappers. The rappers would find a record to rap to, and we would play the music and rap to it. So they were always looking for beats and music, and by being a performing band and creators of music, that was the good mix that we had. Every time we went to New York, the guys were asking us about, hey, man, let's get together and do a brother. I remember when we did Curtis Blow, I'm Chilling. I think we were coming back from Canada, and we stopped in New York, and we did the video shoot with Curtis Blow for I'm Chilling. And we were in New York for a couple of days. We used to be in and out of New York playing at the Saint nightclub, all the clubs throughout the Bronx. And, we even played Madison Square Garden with U2, so we did quite a bit of that.
Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry, my phone.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so with all those amazing performances, I mean, stemming from the 80s until now, which you perform with a standard of excellence, no doubt. Now, and you did NPR just like 5 years ago, the Tiny Desk series.
Right.
What was your best performance and what made it stand out?
Oh, wow. I think the Japan, when we played in Japan in 82 or something like that, we was kind of surprised to see the Japanese out there dancing like they knew what was going on. I guess they did, but the house was sold out. Everywhere we went, Berlin, the house was sold out. My brother went to Australia to get the do go-go. It was just, I can't say one show was better, but some shows surprised us, not so much as better.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have any tours lined up? It's not like you're stopping, like you said.
Well, we just put the album out. We're gonna let this thing, and we're starting to work on our next album in July, middle of July. We put this album. Hoping about September, October, we'll be starting to get some dates in. But we want the records, because those 8 records on this album is really good. It's a really nice conglomerate album, and we're trying to do the same thing on each one. Now hopefully we'll get other rappers to come in besides my nephew. We have people, other vocal groups who are going to get involved, and so we're probably going to have more and more people to come to D.C. and want to be a part of what we're doing. And considering we own, if you test something, you're trying to own it. So we have our own record company, our own public company, everything we write is ours. So we're not into that. We don't need to get with a big company at this point. We just need to write and do what we're going to do. Because we've been through that. We went from Death Records with our own record company when we started. We had the only go-go record company at that time. 2, we ended up, by that time, Sugar Hill wanted us and Island Records wanted us. So many record companies we had. I think we've been on 4 different record companies. They didn't know what to do. But Chris Blackwell probably was the one who pushed us around the world to introduce us when he was with Island. Because at that time, Trouble Funk, Jay-Z, YouTube, we were all on Island Records together at that point.
So you had to have learned a lot bouncing from company to company.
Yeah, you do learn a lot.
Yeah, I'll just say one of the things, and you'll see that happening now, and again, it goes back to the fact that technology has allowed young people to be so versatile to do many things. Back in the day, you did something, you had to sign a contract with a record company, you had to wait on producers and recording studios. But now you can do everything in your home. Tim and I used to have a studio in our home, and we can write a full album, at home, and all we do is go in the studio and do the mixing and mastering. And so I think, the knowledge base now, I think, for the young people is to, again, Taylor mentioned it, learn your craft first. If you are a vocalist, if you are an instrumentalist, learn your craft. Then study music recording and production. And thirdly, learn the business of music, which has a lot of ends to it. People think that, I'm going to make so much money going out there and playing, but the money is in the publishing, the mechanical rights, the royalties that you receive, the sync licensing that you get from your album of being in a movie or a commercial. The other parts of it is, there are 4 other pots of money that are available to you, but you've got to learn that business side of the music, and you have to know about contracts because everything is done through contracts.
Okay. Well, if they didn't learn, they're going to learn today.
They will learn today because they have no choice. But I don't think it's bad. I think AI coming, I don't think it's going to be a negative thing for musicians and artists. I think AI may be a plus for us because we can utilize it. Because as we know, music change as the times get hard. The same thing with blues, the same thing with jazz. When times are hard, we create. and I don't think that's ever going to change throughout history. And go-go is just another style of music in hard times. I mean, politically, it's hard times right now, and a lot of people and things could get worse. And I think that's why I say people don't need to be down; they need positive to be up. So dance music is always going to play a role in keeping the peace, a peace of mind, and a peace of body, and a peace of soul. So I think that's the way. So AI don't bother me. None of this stuff gets in there. I think the younger just got to keep pushing and hanging there with it and keep it going.
Yeah, and I'll say stay true to yourself, because if you think about it, there was a time back in our day when they said we will never play rap music on the radio.
And
it took a long time. The rappers stayed and persevered. And look now, rap is everywhere dominating the market. So if someone tells you we're not or says no, hey, just kick that door in. You know.
Yeah, I mean, one time you couldn't say one cursing word. I mean, that's out the door.
The times have changed.
Yes.
I have two more questions. Where can listeners follow you and download your music? And then, do you have anything else going on outside of the album?
Yeah. So if you go to YouTube, our video for Walk It Down is available there. On the YouTube site are links to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram site. You can track us there. In addition, Taylor and I both are still performing musicians. We perform with Trouble Funk also. And one of the things that we will probably do when we head down the road, you'll get a good taste of go-go, because we'll probably have Trouble Funk and T.R.J. together, and sometimes it'll just be T.R.J. But that's the best way to follow us. I'll just mention that there one show that Taylor and I, we have to head out to rehearsal now, as a matter of fact. We're going to rehearse with Trouble Funk tonight. They're playing at the Wolf Trap on July 29th. So if you're anywhere in D.C. and you want to get a little taste of Trouble Funk and see T.R.J. on stage, you can come to Washington, D.C. at the Wolf Trap. And again, we will post those schedules when we start our concert on our website, and we'll provide a link to that also.
Okay.
And consider on YouTube right now, since the video has been out for 10 days, we're doing like 1,000 views or more a day. So people are watching it and they passing it on, and I can't tell you how many people calling me every 15 minutes.
They're ready. They're ready for some action, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So T.R.J. stands for Taylor Reed James.
No, yes, it stands for Taylor Reed, Robert Reed, James Avery. But my brother's name was Robert Reed.
Robert Reed.
The group was started before he got sick.
Okay, and
I
love it.
His son name is Robert Reed the second.
Robert Reed the second.
Yeah, but we
that's
call him
yeah.
Oh, okay. We're not gonna call him by his government, y'all. Long sleeve.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
Right.
So thank you so much. You were a joy, and I'm glad we were able to get on this call and make this conversation happen.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for the interview, and it's good talking to everyone. And it's been a while since we've been down to North Carolina. I'm going to tell you, we used to rock North Carolina, so look forward to coming down there soon.
Hey, send me tickets. That's all I'm going to say.
Definitely.
I know my doing this one for D.C., Southside, the whole uptown. We trendsetters can't be like no other. I'm from a city of white tees, New Balance and Butters. I love my city, put it on my mother. In every city we go, all the ladies they love my city. We love go-go, Saviano and Hobo. Talk Museum, shawty, check out the logo. From a city where they eat your feet. She heard I was from D.C., she so super geek.